everybody. Hello, hello. This is Cloudy ASMR, and I am so honored to have you here with me today. Today I'm doing something a bit more personal, intimate, and just not really trigger sounds based. This is going to mostly just be me talking as thunder rumbles in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear it. But, oh, I'm so sorry. I knocked the camera tripod, well, my phone tripod, a little bit. As you can see, this video is a little bit chaotic. And I would say unscripted, but to be honest, I've recorded this video like 3 times over the past week. So at this point, it's already kind of scripted itself, if you know what I mean. Well, as 2020 approaches, sorry, 2020, as 2022 approaches, I wanted to bring something to the table for you. This is called IKIGAI, and I showed this book in my second video ever on the channel around a month ago, where I basically interview you for a exclusive book club, and I showed this book in that video and on the thumbnail, but I actually really wanted to talk about it in detail as well. Well, not in absolute detail, because as you can see, there are quite a lot of pages. But I want to talk about it because I think it will be really good for people who are particularly feeling lost and need a bit of guidance. Now, I'm not saying that I am a guru or anything. I'm also learning myself. So this is just a little bit of sharing from my part, alright? Take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is more of a discussion than it is a teaching. So let's start. I tapped some pages here with some of these adorable translucent plastic tabs. So let's get to the first one, alright? Without further ado. Alright. Oh my goodness. Thunder rumbling outside just as I turn to the page. Alright, shall we read together? Oh, sorry, I knocked you again. Purposefully repurposed. The Venn diagram that is widely used as a basis to explain the concept of ikigai actually had the word purpose at its center originally. Then in 2014, Mark Wynn, a self-proclaimed change maker and community-led innovation specialist, thunder is about to occur. I saw the lightning flash. There we go. If you're afraid of thunder, please skip this one, I think. Wrote a blog post about ikigai illustrated with the purpose diagram, except he substituted the word ikigai. Substituted in the word ikigai. One changed word, and the revised meme has since been shared globally and influenced millions of people to seek their ikigai. Now let's talk about this Venn diagram. I graduated last year from university, and I basically felt very lost. I thought I would have a really easy time transitioning into the workforce and adulthood, but honestly it's been very, very difficult because my ambition turns out to be, okay, I'm actually starting to get scared because there has been flooding issues lately. I hope this thunder doesn't cause a big issue. Let me unplug some devices for a moment just so nothing short circuits or something. All right. Okay, I'll just talk through the thunder. Thunder? Thunder. Okay, so as I was saying, um, after graduating, I felt very lost because I have pretty big ambitions, but it turns out that there are a lot more barriers to entry and like just a lot more obstacles than I thought there would be because I have been quite naive or optimistic, you know? And so reading this has kind of reinvigorated my sense of ambition and my understanding of goals and how to approach the things that I want to do and what are the things that I actually want to do and is worthwhile doing, if that makes sense. But enough about me. Let me stop rambling and instead talk about this diagram. So, I want to turn your attention to this, what you are good at and what you love. I think the disconnect here, so this area and this area, that don't coincide is quite a sad space, right? Sometimes we love something, but we're not good at it, or we can't be paid, or, it's not something that's worthwhile. But it is still a passion, it is still something we enjoy, if you know what I mean. Like, some people love music but are tone deaf. Some people love to cook but, like, aren't good at creating recipes or whatever. So, the disconnect here, I think, is what causes a lot of sadness. So, I think instead of focusing too much on this area, I think more people should try and discover this portion, these overlaps. And that's the whole point of Ikigai. The whole point of this is to let go of the things that do not serve you, essentially. Well, you can still keep it in your life, but if you're trying to find a sense of purpose, sorry, there are sirens in the background again. I hope everyone's okay. Ikigai, if you're really trying to find your sense of purpose, you need to focus on all of this overlapped parts, the center. And the thing about what you love and what you're good at, and everything in general, like all of these things, is that they're constantly expanding. You can always improve your skills and um, become better at certain things. And you can also always learn to love new things. For example, ASMR. 10 years ago, I didn't really know what ASMR was. I started watching ASMR maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So, what I loved has now included it. And I wouldn't say I'm perfect at it, but I think I'm decent at providing ASMR in a way. So then it becomes a passion, which is why I started the channel and I'm continuing the channel. And then, because of YouTube and everything, ASMR content creation also becomes what you can be paid for. And nowadays, the world also needs relaxation, right? So then all of this meets to become this ikigai, giving me a sense of purpose. Now, you're not only allowed to have one ikigai, you can have plenty of things in here, and you can have a lot of different Venn diagrams for different portions of your life, your work life, your romance life, your family life, your personal mental health life. So, don't feel limited by this at all, right? Especially by this part, what the world needs. Because I think a lot of people get like very caught up by this what the world needs. They might want to do something and then realize, wait, but does the world need this? Now, I think sometimes we don't have to think about the world at large. Sometimes our worlds can be a lot smaller. Our communities can be a lot smaller. People outside the ASMR community might not think ASMR is what the world needs, but within this community, within this niche and demographic, it is loved. It is the centerpiece. So don't feel too limited by this what the world needs. And if you feel lost and without a sense of purpose, sometimes what the world needs is just for you to be you, if that makes sense. We just need you to be unique and to bring your unique voice to the table. So don't feel limited by this. And in terms of what you can be paid for, well, that is a little bit of a realist thing, isn't it? Very, very, very much very Japanese, if you know what I mean, because this is a Japanese philosophy. Very realist, very practical. So, what you can be paid for, certainly, we're talking money and everything, but if you're trying to go into something new and you don't really need any financial stability anymore, like for example, if you're just doing well financially and let's use ASMR as an example again, for myself, as I am today, I can't be paid for ASMR yet, but even if I cannot be paid for it, I'm still happy to do it because I get paid for in different ways. I get paid for in terms of satisfaction and happiness and contentment. So I think these are just things that you shouldn't be limited by, and a lot of different answers can fit these circles, all right? So just keep that in mind. These are always expanding as well. Now, I wanted to share this one too. Beware of obsessive passion. Passion is a powerful motivational force for human beings, but you need to be aware that you can express obsessive passion as well as harmonious passion. Obsessive passion is when you feel an uncontrollable urge to participate in an activity you view as important or enjoyable. The problem is that you get frustrated when prevented from doing this activity. Equally, if you spend excessive time on the activity while neglecting, say, pressing work or family related commitments, you feel distracted and cannot possibly achieve the flow state. Dissatisfaction reigns. And then embrace harmonious passion. If you express harmonious passion for an activity, you have control. You choose to engage in an activity you love rather than feel an uncontrollable urge to do so. This eliminates conflict between your personal, passionate activity and other important activities in your life. Immerse yourself in your favorite activity whenever you get the chance to do so. Fully focused on what you're doing, you can flow. When you have to spend time doing other necessary tasks, you can adapt to give them proper attention without feeling resentful. So, harmonious passion rather than obsessive passion is conducive to ikigai. I wanted to share this because this just makes me think a lot about the idea of why. The why of doing things, I think, ultimately is what we're trying to look for. For example, this year I've been trying to create a lot of media projects. For example, this ASMR channel. But I'm also talking about my podcast, my vlog channel, everything. I've tried to create a lot of things. Now, is it because I actually have a harmonious passion for it? Or is it because I feel an uncontrollable urge to do it so that I can get views, so that I can get likes, attention, validation? I'm not sure. That's why I've had to think a lot about why. Why do I make the podcast? And if I want to approach it in a way that is conducive to my ikigai, what do I have to do? I have to actually consider the topics I want to talk about. I have to consider, how to edit and what elements I should be adding and the guests that I bring on, all of these different elements. I'm not sure if this is relevant to people, but this is just how I feel. I think harmonious passion, the way to achieve it is a lot about not just control. Well, I mean, it is all about control, but to get to that control, I think the why aspect is really important. Why are we doing it in the first place? Are we just addicted to it? Are we just wanting to do it to do it? I think it's important that I stop saying things just to say things, but instead actually think about why I want to say something, right? So, there you have it. I want to skip over one of these tabs actually. So, let's move on to this one. Work isn't everything. This is super important for the workaholics out there. Your job should allow you to maintain other ikigai outside of work. In Japan, there is a long-held corporate culture of expecting employees to work extremely long hours. So while the Japanese may have found the secret to a happy working life in the ikigai philosophy, some companies' exploitation of the workers make it impossible to realize. The key is for your work to represent just one among several ikigai in a rich tapestry that gives meaning to your life. If you find your work suffocating all your other interests, it is time to make a change. For someone for anyone listening who is feeling particularly in pain or suffocated and just idle in terms of their work life, this is your message to try to find something better for yourself, all right? Because I really had to do that this year, even though it's my first year in in the workforce. I really, really had to reconsider my job, which was very difficult because I wanted to just bear with it. I wanted to just live through it and go and get out on the other side. But then I realized that it just wasn't conducive to a happy, contented life. So, if this is the case for you, you really should consider this and take this as an opportunity for you to rethink why you're doing your job and whether or not it is conducive for you to find your ikigai and how much ikigai means to you compared to, just working the same old job just because it is, it provides stability, which is perfectly fine. But if you're looking for something more purposeful, then I would suggest you to think a little bit more about it, all right? But like I said, take my advice with a grain of salt. Don't just quit your job willy nilly, Have some planning. And now, the last message that I tabbed is this: failure is the best way to learn. I think most of us know this, right? Just because you're good at something, it doesn't mean you won't fail. I think this is a really great sentence to start on. In fact, if you challenge your ability, failure is inevitable. I like this line as well because I truly believe in the I guess it's kind of like the scientific method, right? Where it's you have to be willing to falsify yourself, your ideas, your abilities, everything, right? The legendary inventor Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed. I have found 10,000 ways that won't work." Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, admitted, "I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." The Japanese have a saying, "Shipai wa seiko no moto," meaning failure is the foundation of success. So long as you learn from it, failure can be your friend on your ikigai journey. Now, I want to talk a little bit about failure. Before 2021, I actually was a very big stranger to failure. And that might sound very, I don't know, like egoistic, but it's true. I am willing to admit it. Before 2021, I actually had a lot of ease in finding success because, I was in the school system and I come from a very blessed family. So I didn't have to struggle through a lot of things in terms of, failure and success, this kind of stuff. But this year, I've faced monumental to me in my life, challenges. One of those things was failing my driver's test. Now, that might sound like very silly to some of y'all who have driven for years and years on the road with no problem. But I actually have a little bit of a fear of driving on the road. I got into an accident when I was, well, 2 years ago, basically in 2019. And it wasn't really a bad accident, but it showed me, like before then, I had no real recognition of what driving meant and what could happen on the road. I mean, I knew accidents was a thing, but I didn't realize how scary and how real it was. And I didn't realize all of the consequences that would follow. I'm talking insurance, I'm talking money, I'm talking about all these difficult things. And so that's when I realized the danger of driving on the road beyond just putting your life on the line, but also just all these different aspects of your life that can make living so arduous and difficult. So I failed my driver's test, and I've been really, really upset by that because it just takes a lot of time and a little bit of money for me to have to go and resit it and, take lessons again and have to make time out of my working life for it. It's a lot, right? And so that has been one of my failures. Another failure has been with my podcasts and my other channels that I talked about. I don't do well on those, but I've learned to also redefine success. I've realized that for those avenues, I don't have to care so much about the numbers. I care so much more about the production value. And I want to be proud of the work in terms of the actual quality of the work, not just the final outcome of the numbers and the analytics. So that's kind of something that I've learned, that like failing those podcasts, that like the podcast and the driving test has taught me, well, for the driving test, it taught me how to negotiate with my own fears, and it also taught me how to be careful on the road, and how to actually drive properly because I had to retake it so many times, well, twice really, and well, 3 times in total because I passed on the third. But failing with my podcast, for example, taught me to redefine success for myself and how to um, feel successful in my own way. So that's kind of another way that I've learned. So I've been rambling for the better part of 20 minutes now, and I hope that has been interesting to you. I actually sometimes get tingles from listening to people overshare. Some of my favorite artists when it comes to that is Whisper Ginger. She's been around for a long time. I doubt she'll ever hear this, but I'm in awe of her, and she is a wonderful content creator. So if you ever want to hear rambles and stuff, you should check her out. Um, but I also just wanted to share my lessons of 2021 with you through this book of Ikigai. And I hope it was interesting for you to learn about it if you haven't heard about it before. In my previous sort of positive affirmations video, I talked about the rain technique, and there was a comment, I think, that said that they had never heard about it before. So I was very happy to share it. I felt very pleased to be able to share something new with you. So I hope this also shares something like that is something interesting for you to learn about. And I just want to thank you so much for 500 subscribers and growing, because it's really cool. It's amazing, and I'm so happy to be creating content that actually serves a purpose other than just me trying to get views, right? I keep saying right, like you'll answer me like I'm a school teacher. Because yeah, I just am trying to escape from just a numbers game, but obviously any content creator will understand, or anyone who don't even create content will understand that numbers and all of that validation does serve a purpose in proving that your work is good and that it's worthwhile. So it's understandable. But I also like that these videos serve a purpose greater than myself, that I'm able to provide a little bit of relaxation and entertainment maybe for you guys. So I am eternally is a strong word, but I am immensely grateful for everyone watching, and I am so overjoyed if you're still watching and that if you learned something or another from this, alright? I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please like, subscribe, comment, check out my Ko-fi page where you can support me financially or not if you would not like to. After all, for this to be my ikigai, sorry I snorted a little bit. I have to be paid for it. I'm just kidding, you guys. I literally do not mind at all. That there is no monetary gain from this. But anyways, enough about money and whatnot. I wish you a pleasant rest of